Majesty. Shalom in the name of Yahshua. Hope you're having a good day. Yeah, I think the John Bob 100 account's been taken down, but I'm just going to continue putting some videos up there. You know, even though it seems that YouTube is now heavily censored, and we'll just see how long YouTube stays up for. Bless you, in His name. Yeah, I just want to talk about the al-megrahi situation. It seems that Strathclyde Police advised the Scottish Government that it would cost about 100,000 to keep al-megrahi in a secure unit in hospital for him to die. Maybe that was a consideration in the 86-page document that released the man in compassionate grounds. You know, even though he still remains a convicted murderer, and even though he maintains his innocence, it seems strange to me, at least, that you know, only one man has been caught for such a heinous crime as killing over, you know, 250 mostly American people, many Jewish people there as well. I think New Jersey is quite a Jewish part of the east coast of the United States. But then again, we look at the political situation, and you know, maybe in days gone by, governments would have gone out of their way to keep an affiliation with the American government, but it seems that you know, due to some of its foreign policies and so on, and maybe some of the things that have been going on in concentration camps there in America, it seems that maybe people are just changing opinions slightly about the role of America in the world. Today is the anniversary of the World War, the 70th anniversary that just passed a couple of days ago when Hitler invaded Poland, and ended up, I just want to go through the numbers. I find them quite significant in the Bible. Just turn the radio up a little bit here. Us Scottish, you know, love the Gaelic language, even though many of us can't speak it, but we just like it because, you know, it separates us from the sense of empire, I guess, and you know, we want to be separate, and yet at the same time, you know, when asked if Scotland should be fully independent, many people will still say that we're interdependent with England and Wales. I'm not sure how we're interdependent with Wales. Maybe it's the amount of sheep that's there. I'm not entirely certain. I know certainly Ireland are a very productive nation, and you know, they obviously separated from the British Empire. I think before this, around the Second World War. I know they fought in it, certainly for you know, the British and Americans, and even in the Russian side. So if you actually add all the allies together, which we want to talk about, the number roughly goes to about 500 million. Okay. And there are many Jews and other Israelites that were in, let's say, America, Russia and Great Britain at the time, who actually all fought against the Nazis in the Second World War. Now, if you look at the statistics, about 1% of that number were Jews, because almost, I think it's about 5.5 million, almost 6 million Jews perished in the war. So that's about 1% of that number. But what it says in the Bible is that a tenth of Israel will survive in the coming wars. In the book of Revelation, if you read that, there's a massive amount of people from the earth. But if you read Jeremiah 50, it talks about Israel, but it also talks about the nations and God bringing Israel out from the nations, and the fact that He would kindle a fire in the cities of Babylon and Chaldee. Okay, now Chaldee is actually a large part of Russia today, and Babylon, if you look at all the idols and so on that are in the nation of America, such as Lady Liberty and other such idols, other such statues, they all come from Babylon. There's also the mother of Babylon it talks about in Jeremiah 50 as well, that she'll be ashamed. Now the mother of Babylon, or the mother of America, is very much seen as a British colony, so Britain's sort of the mother of Babylon. But Babylon the Great itself, in prophecy, whether you agree with it or not, is the United States. And if you look at it, there's a large proportion of Jews and Israelites in the American nation. That's what I want to get to. 1/10 surviving this coming war. But when you look at the statistics here about the number of Jews that were killed in Europe, it is actually 1/10 of the amount of people that were killed in the Second World War, which I find quite significant, because it's around 50 million people from the Allied nations that were killed. Let's just go through the nations here that were affected by Hitler, starting with Albania, and that's 200 people from there. Austria, 65,000. Belgium, 24,500. Czechoslovakia, 277,000. Now these are only estimated figures for Jewish people. There were of course Christians and other representations of society that were called deserters, and other ones that obviously were like gays and so on, that were actually killed in the concentration camps as well. Czechoslovakia there, 277,000, that's a massive figure. Denmark 100, I don't think Estonia 1,000, France 83,000. Remember, half of France was occupied by the Nazis. Germany 160,000. So again, not quite as much as Czechoslovakia. We see the Balkan Wars there in the region of Czechoslovakia even going on now, and that's why we've got nations like Slovenia and the Czech Republic now, because of the wars that have gone on really from the Second World War. Greece 71,500, Hungary 200,000, that's a very significant figure there. Italy 8,000, Latvia 80,000, so Latvia's a relatively small nation. I know a couple of families of them that came over to Britain. They didn't say that they were Jews, but they are part of the Catholic Church now. But 80,000 Jews there from Latvia killed, 141,000 Lithuanians, and that's a relatively small country in Europe. It's a massive figure. Luxembourg 700, Netherlands 104,000. So that's a really big figure there. Even though the Protestants, again, like Germany, didn't really resist the Nazis all that much. And if you take a sneak preview of what's happening in America today, you can draw some parallels, but we won't go into that at the moment. Now the next one here represents more than half of the Jews that were killed in the Second World War, and that's in Poland, in the fact that there were 3 million Jews estimated there, killed in camps such as Auschwitz and other ones there, which is just an absolutely horrific figure, which it seems to add up to about, if you talk about the City of London, actually the business district of London, and if you discount the whole of London, that's about 3 million people that stay in that part of London. I think Greater London something like 7 million, but the actual city part itself is about 3 million, so it's a massive figure, if you can imagine that. I think the size of Wales itself is about over 2 million people, so it's an incredible amount of people. Romania 496,000, the Soviet Union 1 million. We know that many Soviet Jews actually reached America. Many of them actually walked to the west, and then they were able to get transport to the far west, which is America, of course. But still 1 million perished from the Soviet Russian Empire, which again is quite proportionate to the amount of people that were killed off by Stalin's regime. An estimated figure of about 20 million there, and Yugoslavia's 67,000, which is very close to Czechoslovakia, which doesn't actually exist anymore as a nation.